I thank you for your interest in SLS School Suite in this video. We're going to look at classes and how that ties everything for the school classroom suite together. Again, if you're signing up with a classroom suite invite code, you'll have access to these 4 systems right here. In the previous video, we went over the lesson plan builder, but now we're going to talk about classes and how you can build a class, attach lessons to it, and then we'll discuss how to attach students to it. So if you click on classes, if you're new, if you haven't created anything yet, you will not have an option, or you will not have any classes here on the left to load. You will see this help bubble, which you can click to get a refresher outside of this video as to what this page does. But outside of that, you should just be left with clicking new class. Now this is easy enough. You can create a class name, and we'll call it a test class, and we're going to mark it active, and start date, we'll mark it for the 12th. Once you have it loaded, you'll be able to update it and change some of the actions here, okay? So primarily the purpose of classes is to organize lessons. So if there is a schedule that you want to lay out over multiple days, or if you have multiple lessons that you want to give to a group of students, you can attach them to a class. So I've created a test class, and the first thing I'm going to begin to do is add lessons to it. So if I click on add lesson to class, I will see all of the lessons I've ever created, okay, in the system. So let's say one of them is LLC operation that I want to add. I'm going to do that today. We're going to do introduction to computer science tomorrow. And I've got a lovely wide variety of topics here. And let's say I'm going to do math part 4 on Wednesday. Okay, so I've laid out 3 days on the class schedule. Now, if I click on the public viewer, the students will see kind of a scaled down version of what I see over there, but it'll basically lay out the dates and what's due on that day, so they can access it by clicking on the book icon. Now, of course, again, if that particular lesson plan is not public, they won't see it. But let me click on one that I know is, and it'll show up and populate. So you can work this through together with the class, or provide this as a study guide, notes, what have you, but it's about providing an organization to your curriculum. So that's easy enough to add lessons, but let's say you wanted to add students. And again, you just take the program as far as you need to. For me, a lot of times I'm good just using this to distribute lessons to students in an organized fashion. If I have a 10-day curriculum, like for instance, let's look right here. If I have a 10-day curriculum, it's laid out here. The student can look at it, access it, click on the different days. Makes it really easy. However, if you do need to take it a step further than that and add students to your curriculum, you can do that here. Okay, well, when you click on it, you'll notice there's nothing here. It's because we haven't added any students to assign to classes yet. So with this class viewer, you'll see this is pretty straightforward, but we're going to talk briefly also about how to build students so that we can add them to classes. So if you click My Account, that'll get you back to your main account page where you should see these 4 classroom icons. You'll click on the student listing. All right, as you can see here, I have several students built for a student listing. However, they're all gray, all right, which means they're actually inactive. So let's, just so I can show you its completion, of course you have the help bar here, but let's create a new student, because for you wouldn't see anything because you wouldn't have any students built yet. So we'll call it Dan, John. We'll give Dan 2 first names, and then we'll give him an email, dan@john.com. Okay, so we've created a new student. When you create a new student, it goes active immediately. So active students will always show priority first in this list. Inactive ones will list in alphabetical order below that. So if I take another one here and let's mark them active. Again, with the pencil icon, you can edit any student, and the paper here is just so you can add notes. All right, so we'll put a note in for Dan. This student is great, and save it. Okay, so that note will always stay with that student, whether he's active or inactive. So I now have 2 active students, and again, I'm using the pencil icon to flip their active status, and I'll flip one more and save it. And you'll notice that all active students shoot to the top, and then they're alphabetized, and then it's followed by inactive students that are alphabetized. All right, so now if I go back to classes and I load my test class, I can begin to add and see these 3 students here. So let's say I'm going to add all 3 of these students to this. As I add them, you'll notice a student roster starts to build here on the left. Okay, so I'll add that, I'll add Dan, and I'll add David. Okay, so on the student roster, you see 3 students here that have been built on the left. Okay, well that's great, but why does that matter? Well, in the next video, we're going to access the gradebook, and you're going to see how basically, as you have built your class, a gradebook is going to be associated to that, and as you add students to this class, those students are actually going to be associated to that gradebook behind the scenes. So that's going to be built for you, and the only thing that you're going to need to do is add the assignments at that point. We'll see you in the next video.